Okay, today we're going to read Tyrone the Horrible by Hans Willhelm. And this was published in 1988 when Miss Ullrich was 9 years old. So that meant I would have been like in third grade. That was a good year. By the way, this is the second time I'm trying to record this book because the dog keeps barking every time a car drives by. So if you see me use my trusty handy-dandy spray bottle, that's because a certain someone is barking. Story of our lives this day and age. All right. Boland was a little dinosaur. He lived with his mother and father in a great swamp forest. No. There were lots of dinosaur children in Boland's neighborhood. They played together every day, and Boland was friendly with all of them, all except one. Can you close the closet, please? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Look at this guy. His name was Tyrone. Tyrone the Horrible, as he was usually called. He was just a kid himself, but he was much bigger and stronger than most of the others. He was a real bully, if you ever saw one. In fact, he was the world's first big bully. Tyrone especially liked to pick on Boland. He punched and teased him and always stole his snack or sandwich. Boland tried to stay out of Tyrone's way, but it seemed that no matter where he went, Tyrone was waiting for him. Okay. Shh, guys, quiet. Night after night, Boland had a hard time getting to sleep. He kept thinking of ways to avoid Tyrone. It seemed hopeless. Oh, look at his face. Oh, it's like he's so worried. Boland's playmates tried to help. You have to get Tyrone to be your friend, Terry said to Boland one day. That's easier said than done, said Boland. How do you make friends with someone who has been hurting and teasing you all your life? Yeah, I have to give him a present and show him how you care, Terry said. Boland thought for a while. What kind of present could he give Tyrone? Then he remembered how Tyrone was always taking his snacks and sandwiches. A present for Tyrone, he said. Well, at least it's worth a try. That afternoon, Boland went looking for Tyrone. Here, he said in his friendliest voice. It's such a hot day, I thought you might like a nice ice cream cone. Tyrone looked at Boland for a moment, then he smiled a nasty smile. Ice cream for me? How sweet. Tyrone grabbed the cone, then he turned it upside down and squashed it on Boland's head. Ha ha ha! Tyrone laughed and walked away. Boland could hear Tyrone's laughter for a long time echoing through the forest. The next day, Boland told his friend Stella what had happened. You're taking this too seriously, Stella said. Don't pay any attention to that big bully when he tries to tease you. Just stay cool. That's the only thing he'll understand. Staying cool when you are scared is not easy, Boland said, but I will try. And so the next time Boland met Tyrone, he stayed cool. Hey, lizard head, roared Tyrone as Boland walked by. How about my sandwich? Boland did not pay any attention and didn't even try to run away. He kept on walking. I guess I'll have to help myself again, Tyrone said. He stomped on Bolin's tail until Bolin let go of his sandwich. Bolin tried not to show his tears, but it hurt a lot. When Bolin's friends found out what Tyrone had done, they were furious. It's time to fight back, Stego said. Tyrone has given you enough trouble. You must stand up to him and show him how you are a dinosaur too. You can win any fight against him. Tyrone just had a big mouth, that's all. Bolin was angry too. You're right, he said. Maybe I should fight him and stop this nonsense once and for all. Well, Stego said, let's do it. Right now. The four friends marched off to find Tyrone. Bolin stood up and faced Tyrone the Horrible. Listen, you brute, he said. I have had enough of your bullying. Come on and fight. Tyrone took one look at Bolin, then grinned and said, Okay, if that's what you want. Look at them all behind that rock there. Kind of wondering what's going to happen. It was a very short fight. Let me just get this book here. Little Bolin had no chance against his big enemy. I'm sorry, Stego said. That was not a very good idea. You better give up. Some bullies you just can't beat. You have to learn to live with them, whether you like it or not. Oh, they're so nice, helping him feel better. Where were they when he was fighting? I don't know. But Bolin did not like it. Oh, sorry, the book's getting messed up. There just has to be a way to beat a bully, he thought. He was still thinking as the moon came out and all the stars filled the sky. Suddenly he smiled, a big smile. That's it, he said to himself. Then he curled up and was soon fast asleep. The next morning, Bolin took his sandwich and went off to the swamp forest as usual. It wasn't long before he ran into Tyrone. Another snack for me, roared Tyrone. I hope it's something good. And with that, he swiped the sandwich out of Bolin's hand and swallowed it with one gulp. Bolin walked on as fast as he could. Suddenly, he heard a terrible scream. Okay, I guess this is what happens. It was Tyrone. Huge flames were coming out of his mouth. Help! I'm burning, he cried. I'm dying. I'm poisoned. Help! Help! Nonsense, Bolin said with a laugh. It was only a sandwich. I didn't know you were so sensitive. I happen to like double thick red pepper sandwiches. Too bad you don't. He turned around and went off, leaving the moaning and groaning Tyrone behind. From then on, Tyrone stayed as far away from Bolin as he could. Bolin played happily with his friends in the swamp forest all day, and he never had any trouble falling asleep at night. When much, much later, some scientists found Tyrone the Horrible, he looked a little different, but he still had that nasty smile on his face. And with that, old Miss Ullrich says to herself, oh, the 80s, how they were so different than today. So in this book, we definitely hear about a bully, because there are still bullies today in our day and age, but there were definitely bullies back in the 80s. And it was really hard because a lot of times people were just bullied and nobody did anything about it. And you might hear from a teacher or a mommy or daddy that just boys were being boys or kids were being kids. But now, in our day, we don't allow bullying. Bullying has to be stopped, and it's our responsibility to stop it. So I'm just going to take a moment and show you a part of the book when I think the bullying could have been stopped. Because honestly, giving him hot sauce in a sandwich could have hurt him. He could have been very sick from eating that sandwich. So I'm not going to go against the author because this is definitely a moment in the 80s when, it's supposed to be kind of funny. But I'm going to show you when I think the bullying could have been stopped, okay? And that is this part right here. So if you look here, you have his friends here, and there is Boland, and there's Tyrone, and there's even some people back here standing around. Did you know that the #1 way to stop bullying is to be an upstander? And an upstander means somebody who stands up to other people or to things that they feel is wrong. So when Tyrone was being a bully, these guys could have been upstanders and stood up with Boland and said, "Hey, knock it off." Or these people back here, these dinosaurs, could have said, "Hey, knock it off. That's not okay." And if all these people would have stood up to Tyrone, the bullying probably would have stopped. And Boland wouldn't have been alone. But what happens when everyone stands around and doesn't help and doesn't stand up to the bullies? That's called being a bystander. So if you ask me, my opinion was they should have all stood up to him and stopped the bullying. But Boland chose the other way. Boland chose to trick him into eating hot pepper sandwich, which also stopped the bullying. But again, we don't want Tyrone to get hurt because that's pretty serious. So I'll let you decide which way you think is better to stop bullying in a safe way. You know my opinion. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the book today.